Are you ready for the shocking truth? Imagine you or a loved one is terminally ill. You're giving up. Doctors are helpless. You're ready to sell your soul to the devil just to find the cure. And then, suddenly, hope looms on the horizon. Hope in the form of a man who has been through hell and back again, yet still managed to overcome his illness. A young, charming woman. She shares her incredible story of battling an incurable disease, inspiring millions and becoming an icon of healthy living. Her books and apps sell millions of copies, and her name is synonymous with hope for the unfortunate. And then, everything collapses. Today we tell the story of Annabelle Natalie Gibson, known as Belle Gibson, an Australian con artist who built an empire on a cancer lie and then faced the harsh reality.
Who is she? A victim of her own delusion or a cold-blooded liar who cynically exploited the suffering of others? How did a young woman deceive millions of people, including major corporations, and make a fortune by lying about her health? And what happened when the truth came out? Brace yourself, because this story isn't just a tale of fraud. It's a lesson in the power of social media, human gullibility, and how easily everything can be lost when the truth becomes too inconvenient.
Annabelle Natalie Gibson emerged into the public arena, specifically on Instagram, under the username healing_Belle, with a heartbreaking story. She claimed to have been diagnosed with incurable brain cancer, as well as, attention, cancer of the blood, spleen, uterus, kidneys, and liver. Doctors, she said, gave her only months to live. But Belle didn't give up. She simply abandoned conventional treatment and turned to alternative medicine, changing her lifestyle, diet, and mindset. Her story was incredible. Belle claimed that only through a strict diet of organic foods, abstaining from sugar, gluten, and dairy, and using herbal remedies, was she able to overcome cancer. She shared her secrets on social media, inspiring thousands of people who were also battling illnesses or seeking a healthy lifestyle. Her Instagram account became incredibly popular, amassing 200,000 followers within a year. The ailing woman posted photos of beautiful food, her workouts, and inspirational quotes. She created an image of a strong, courageous woman who overcame a terminal illness thanks to her faith and fortitude. People believed her because they wanted to believe in miracles, in the possibility of healing without pain and suffering.
Belle Gibson's story quickly expanded beyond social media. In 2013, she launched the mobile app, The Whole Pantry, which offered healthy recipes, lifestyle tips, and inspiring stories. The app became a hit, downloaded hundreds of thousands of times, and was even chosen by Apple to be pre-installed on the Apple Watch. In 2014, Belle released a cookbook of the same name, which also became a bestseller. She appeared on television and gave interviews. She became a true celebrity, an influencer in the field of health and wellness. Her income amounted to hundreds of thousands of dollars. What was particularly cynical was that Belle promised to donate a portion of sales to charity, specifically to cancer foundations. This was a powerful marketing ploy that not only attracted new customers, but also created the image of a noble and compassionate woman. People bought her products, believing that by doing so, they were not only helping themselves, but also supporting a worthy cause. However, as it later turned out, most of these donations never reached their intended recipients. Belle Gibson masterfully harnessed the power of social media. She created the perfect image of a survivor, sharing her experiences and inspiring others. Her posts were carefully crafted, her photos professionally taken. She actively engaged with her audience, responding to comments and messages, creating a sense of personal connection and trust. This allowed her to build up a huge army of loyal followers who unquestioningly believed her every word.
However, like any carefully constructed lie, Belle Gibson's empire began to show cracks. The first doubts arose when her friends and former colleagues began to notice inconsistencies in her story. One of her closest friends at the time, Chanel McAuliffe, became suspicious after witnessing Belle having a seizure, but when McAuliffe suggested calling an ambulance, she quickly recovered. Despite her serious illness, Belle also enjoyed drinking, which could not have gone unnoticed. When followers and journalists questioned her, Belle constantly changed the details of her diagnosis, dates, doctors, and treatment methods. Her stories became increasingly confusing and contradictory. That's when journalists from Australian publications became suspicious, banded together, and began conducting their own investigations. In the process, they discovered that Belle had donated the funds she'd promised to charity. Many of the foundations to which she'd promised donations never received the money. This was the first serious blow to the blogger's reputation. Then came the most terrifying thing: the revelation of her diagnosis. In 2015, Australian media published investigations claiming that Belle Gibson had never had cancer. Her cure story was a complete fabrication. Her former friends and even family members confirmed that she had never received the diagnosis. In an interview with 60 Minutes, Gibson couldn't clearly explain why she lied.
I haven't traded my story or the lives of others. I'm not trying to hide anything.
This was a shock to her millions of followers. The man who inspired them turned out to be a liar. The man who promised a cure was himself ill, not with cancer, but perhaps with a pathological lie. The scandal erupted with incredible force, and Belle Gibson went from a health icon to Australia's most hated fraudster. To truly understand how Annabelle Natalie Gibson became such a figure, it's necessary to look into her past. Her childhood and adolescence were shrouded in mystery, and many details of her biography remain unclear or contradictory. What is known is that she was born in Australia to a dysfunctional family. After dropping out of high school, she left home at 12, lived with a family friend, and gave birth to a daughter at 18. Throughout this time, Belle strove for attention and recognition. She was active on social media long before her cancer story went viral. Even then, she cultivated the image of someone living a full life despite difficulties. This desire for an ideal image may have led her to invent details of her life to make it more interesting and dramatic.
Belle Gibson was not a doctor or scientist. Her knowledge of medicine was superficial, based on personal beliefs and unverified sources. However, her charisma and self-confidence allowed her to convincingly speak about complex issues, creating the illusion of expertise. This became a key factor in her ability to deceive people seeking simple answers to complex health questions. One of the victims of the scam is Australian Bella Johnston, who was diagnosed with an endocrine tumor at age 19. When she saw a post on social media about a woman her age successfully battling the disease, she was inspired. Rejecting traditional medicine, Bella began following Belle Gibson's advice.
Of course I believed her. I had cancer and was told I was going to die. Why shouldn't I believe someone who claimed they could cure me without the risks of chemotherapy and radiation? You just can't comprehend everything you want to believe because you just don't want to die.
Bella downloaded the app and bought the book. She so wanted to be as vibrant and beautiful as Belle, not broken with her hair falling out and terrible skin. Who knows how Johnston's story, which unquestionably followed the influencer's advice, would have ended if the truth about the fraud hadn't come to light. In 2019, Bella underwent successful surgery and the cancer retreated.
Following the revelation, Belle Gibson's empire collapsed overnight. Apple and Penguin Books removed her app and book from sale. Her social media accounts were suspended. she became the target of widespread scorn and anger. In 2017, the Federal Court of Australia found Belle Gibson guilty of defrauding consumers and withholding funds raised for charity. She was fined 410,000 Australian dollars, approximately 270,000 US dollars. The judge called the blogger's actions shameless and cynical, noting that she exploited the tragedy of others for personal gain. However, even after the verdict, Belle Gibson showed no genuine remorse. In interviews, she continued to claim that she was confused about her diagnoses and that she genuinely believed what she said. This sparked even greater public outrage, which had expected her to admit guilt and apologize. After the trial, Belle Gibson virtually disappeared from the public eye. She became a pariah, a figure synonymous with deception and pseudoscience. Her story became a warning to other influencers and health gurus seeking to monetize their unverified claims.
However, despite the fine, Belle Gibson apparently was unable or unwilling to pay it. In 2019, it was discovered that she had failed to pay the majority of the fine, and authorities began taking steps to collect the funds. On January 22, 2020, police searched Gibson's home and seized property to collect the unpaid fines, which, including interest and costs, exceeded $500,000. On May 21, 2021, her home was again searched in an attempt to collect unpaid fines. And what actually happened to Belle herself? It is known that the former blogger joined an ethnic group in Melbourne, began wearing a headscarf, and took the name Sabantu. In 2025, the Australian miniseries Apple Cider Vinegar was released based on the story of con artist Belle Gibson.
Belle Gibson's story raises an important question. Why are we so willing to believe such stories, even when they seem too good to be true? First, the power of hope. When we face an incurable disease or chronic health problems, we're ready to grasp at any straw. The promise of a miraculous cure, without pain or suffering, without the side effects of traditional medicine, becomes incredibly appealing. Second, trust in our own kind. In the age of social media, people tend to trust those they feel close to, like me. Belle Gibson created the image of an ordinary girl who faced incredible challenges and overcame them. This created the feeling that if she could do it, so can I. Third, a lack of critical thinking. In the flood of information, it's difficult to distinguish truth from lies, scientifically proven facts from pseudoscience. Many of us lack sufficient medical knowledge and are unable to critically evaluate claims of miracle cures. Fourth, the placebo effect. Even if a treatment method has no scientific basis, believing in it can lead to improved well-being. People who followed Belle Gibson's advice may have felt better not because of her diet, but because of their belief in it. Finally, there's the desire to be part of something bigger. The healthy lifestyle movement became very popular. People who joined it felt part of a community striving for something better.
Gibson's story is a warning against blindly trusting everything we see on social media. It's a warning about the need to verify information, especially when it comes to health and well-being. And it's a warning that true power lies not in deception, but in honesty and responsibility.